It's the Lenny and Lisa Israel Show, where we have an insightful mix of conversations about what's new and relevant in the worlds of entertainment, business, music, relationships, religion, and more. Hey, let's talk about it.
We are here.
It's the Lenny and Lisa Israel Show.
We out here. What's happening, y'all?
Yeah, this is a fire talk.
We're doing something a little different tonight. And fire talking, I'm got a little fire going on in my chest right now. A little hurt and scared by a little something. I don't talk about it. And that's what we do around here. We talk about it. I know the Grammys just took place. We didn't watch it. The people are talking.
I'm picking up audio and sound. I'm gonna go check this, but the recording. But yeah, people been talking about the Grammys, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch y'all.
We didn't watch it, but some of the pictures and images and stuff were more than enough for me. MeganTheStallion and Cardi B were doing the same thing, putting it all the way out there. There's all this cancel culture stuff going on, and it's like they canceling culture on classic cartoons. Who was that? Pepe Le Pew,
Dumbo,
Aristocats, Dr. Seuss, Miss Piggy, SpongeBob, all that. But outside of that, man, it was a little incident that really bothered me. It was a few days ago, maybe a week or two, and we're sitting, we heard some music outside the house, and Lydia's like, "Hey, babe, come look at me." And I was so thrown. My feelings were hurt in almost 2 seconds. I see a young woman in her vehicle rolling a blunt. I see another one outside of the vehicle taking video of these little kids dancing from ages 2 to maybe 10.
Because what got our attention in the first place was somebody playing loud music outside of our house. So we went to the window, peek out, see what's going on, and this is what we saw.
And so you might think, oh, that's cool, that's cute, that's innocent. You know, little kids dancing and recording. But no. Because the music that was playing was MeganTheStallion and Blueface, Bust Down Tatiana. And these little girls are out there busting it down Tatiana.
And the little boys, they all just dancing and
Right.
singing the song word for word.
Right. All of it.
Doing the little dance.
Yes, because this whole little video, he grabbing his little crotch, punching the air.
And when you see little 5 and 7-year-olds,
2-year-olds.
yes, 2 to 7-year-olds grabbing their crotches, doing the same thing, it's like, wow.
And it's kind of sickening. And like I said, even more so, the oldest one, I guess probably the mother, she's sitting in her vehicle, rolling a blunt right there while they are busting down Tatiana, listening to this music that is not meant for their little tiny impressionable ears. And I'm just like, goodness gracious.
And the other lady was just recording. Hey, yeah, get it, yeah.
Right, like it's her little clique of thought minions in training or something. And it just really, really hurt my feelings because it's a sense of this is the state of our baby. I remember, what was that stuff, Dave? What was it called? It was like Kids Bop.
Yeah.
They remade the popular song for kids. And I swear, like, all of that needs to come back into effect
Because
because,
still, that hasn't went anywhere.
but,
The Kids Bop is still out there. The parents that it's just Kids Bop is not played on the radio.
right. But still, nonetheless, like I said, it goes back to all this cancel culture and, cancel culture on movies like Grease. It's sexist and has a rape culture and this and that, and it's the destruction of patriarchy. Right. And it's like, good grief. But all of that's okay.
There's things going on in life for real, and this is the things that people are choosing to combat.
The cancel culture on this little cartoon stuff.
Cartoons and movies because somebody's offended. Come on, man, it's crazy.
Right, and I get the logic behind it, and it was a different time, So but it's still, why is this thing justifiably okay and that's not okay? I'm sorry. I wouldn't want my kids to be watching these two grown women simulate sexual acts towards each other on a public stage in their music. That would not be. We come from a time where that just was unheard of. It was some live wild performances going on, but nothing like that ever.
No, that's it's. I don't even know how to explain it now. The tables have turned. The women are masculinized, and the men are feminized, and the women are being rewarded now. The more nasty they talk, they get rewarded for it. The more they're gonna put them out front.
Yeah, but it's just it is what it is. But at the same time, it goes right back to it takes a village to raise these babies. And I watch pieces of the village, and it's like, okay, mommy is doing her thing right here, and this other relative, whoever.
It boils down to, what do we really care about? We care about canceling culture on these cartoons, but not that type of culture.
Not that type of behavior.
Not that type of behavior, right. What really needs to be canceled?
Right. Because what's hurting somebody?
Yeah.
What's really... But what's really the detriment? What's really causing that much more damage? Which one is worse? And some people be like, oh, well, they're both bad. Like people will be like, oh, well, they're both bad. You can't say you can't say that this music and these videos and these artists, these performances aren't bad, or that they're not bad, and you can't say that these cartoon things aren't bad. It's like, well, why are the performances bad? Because that's just the new freedom of speech in women's live, because they can do what they want. We can do what we want. So it's like, why that shouldn't be a problem, because it's not about men objectifying women anymore. It's them objectifying themselves.
Right. And that's okay, because she's choosing to do that to herself. It's not a man doing it to make money off of her, exploiting her.
She's doing it to exploit herself and make money off of herself.
Hey, which is fine, but it's still just as bad, if not worse, than the gangster rap in the 90s.
Yep.
And how it molded the young black males and females. Everybody a lot of people were affected by that music.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of these kids now, like the ones that were dancing in front of the house, are being affected by this music. But the songs that they're dancing to, they're not going to grow up and possibly be violent gang members. They're going to grow up and be whores and cheaters and liars.
Right.
That's what it's teaching them to be.
I had an incident with a little person like that, and I can't remember what song it was. It was a while ago. And she's like, show auntie how hood you can be. No. Don't show me how hood you can be. That's not cute. That's not okay. No, don't show me that. Show me how smart you can be. Show me that.
Exactly. And it goes back even to this little story that reminds me of back in the projects in the early 90s or so, like early 90s. And we was out in the projects doing our thing, hanging out, and we were smoking, and this girl hands the blunt to her baby. A two-year-old little boy.
Wait, what you mean her baby?
Her son.
What? Huh?
her 2-year-old son handed him the blunt like, after she hit it, here, little bit. He grabbed it and hit it just like that, and passed it to the left. And everybody looked like
from the left hand side. What? No, that's.
I was just thrown. I was thrown, and I was amazed. I was shocked, appalled, amazed, and I couldn't smoke with them people. I had to leave.
That's some smoking. I've been smoking since I was 2.
Yeah, for real. Like nigga, shut up, y'all. No, that fool had that, but that's the ultimate bad parenting. I had never seen anything like that before in my life, but I was that was crazy. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. A 2-year-old hitting the blunt.
I think that, and when you told me about somebody who said baby in the chest, they're crying or something.
Oh, that's something else. But that's just how women these single mothers used to raise their sons. The boy be crying. Stop crying. Boom. Quit acting like a girl. Quit crying like a girl. Wow, you get stole on. That's what it was like. And a lot of men can attest to that. Growing up with that single mother, and she was busting you in the chest for crying like a girl.
Yay!
Yeah, that happened. Because they think that's what it takes to make the boy a man. Because there's no man in the house.
I wouldn't think that would be the direction, but all right. Okay.
Nah, but
No, I mean,
bad parenting goes.
It has levels.
Yeah.
It has levels.
Yeah.
Yes, it has levels. Yeah. Some crazy stuff going on. But, like I say, the world is doing some crazy stuff right now because you'd have never thought there'd be a day be like, Dumbo's not going to exist anymore. They're going to get rid of all of his cartoons. What?
I don't know what Dumbo did. I'm like, I didn't really watch Dumbo as a kid, but how is Dumbo? Is he sexist? Is he
a sexual predator?
Or is he a scary elephant?
I don't know. I know Miss Piggy.
Somebody tell us what Dumbo did.
I know Miss Piggy was violent, and she was.
Miss Piggy was violent.
She was violent, and she was a predator.
She used to smack the shit out of Kermit. She used to smack Kermit ultra violent.
Karate chop him in the neck.
Yeah. I don't know how the pig learned karate.
Gosh, man, someplace she was using her payment for something.
She used to smack Kermit.
But and it's just things of.
And try to rape him all the time.
Right.
Did they cancel culture on Miss Piggy?
Yeah.
Because she's a female pig though. So she can act like that because she's being a strong woman and taking what she wants from Kermit.
Man, that is not okay. That's man rape.
The patriarchy of the frog patriarchy.
That's man frog rape. That's frog. That's frog man.
Abuse.
That's frog man rape.
Frog abuse.
Yeah, male frog abuse. And then she was on some crazy mixed species. Cause what? How would that even work? No. That's a whole other situation. But the things that, like I said, you never thought there'd be a time when you didn't be talking about cartoons getting canceled.
Cartoons being offensive.
Right.
But that's what the whole cancel culture stuff is. Somebody being offended and crying about it and gathering all the other people to be offended by it. And then the sheep says, "Ooh, look at these people being offended. I'm offended too."
Right.
And then they join in.
Speaking of, the little 6 books out of Dr. Seuss's collection that were no longer going to be.
Mm-hmm. But before you say that, I think I know where you're going with that. Like I said, with this cancel culture, especially with these cartoons and these books, it's all a setup. It's the people, the powers that be, who owns these publications. You can look into that yourself if you want to find that out. But the people who owns these publications are canceling culture on their own products so they can sell. They're killing the rapper. Killing the rapper and creating sales. Now, bam, you were going to that Dr. Seuss book is now like $200-300.
No, actually, that's not what I was
Oh,
saying.
okay, hold that thought.
But
Yeah,
I will
now
leave
you
that
cancel
also.
the culture of the Dr. Seuss books, and now they're $200, $300, $400, $1,000, $2,000, and people are buying them now. They're collector's items, even more so collector's items than they were. And now people are going to buy them, hold them, and now they're going to be worth thousands of dollars.
No,
And they're going to make money and just run to the bank and say, cancel that shit because I just got paid.
what I was going to say was that there's these things in them that are pointedly racist and or offensive, particularly against Asians or different particular issues that are within. But my whole issue is all of the things that have been placed and put out into the world that have been offensive to our people.
Because our people didn't gather up and cancel culture on it. We could have gathered up and been offended by all these slave movies since the 70s. No, we should have been offended by blaxploitation and said, no, we should have canceled that culture. But it gave a lot of black actors jobs. But it was created to make fun of us as a people.
Yeah,
Exploit the blacks. Blaxploitation.
It was supposed to be bad actors. It was supposed to not be good. It was supposed to, it was a ha funny joke. But at the same time, it's so sad because our people will go and rally around all this other stuff, but not around ourselves. But going back to Dr. Seuss, yeah, that's cute. $2,000. He's so cute. Try 20 grand for one book.
One Dr. Seuss book, 20 grand. So,
Right.
Write a book and cancel culture on it.
Right. How racistly offensive can I be? But it's different now because if I do that now, they'll stop me before I start. Just because that's just the nature of it.
You'll have to wait, but you won't be alive. You have to wait until this culture that's taking over the culture that's being canceled is actually being canceled by another culture.
Right. And that'll take another 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
So, that'll happen. Because it has to go through this stage, it has to go through
a cycle.
Yeah, go through this cycle, whatever people are offended. You have to get protections out of people. You have to get protections of the people. That's why, black people, we should have fought for some actual protections within the marching and whatnot. There was never any hate crime bills written up for black people until, recently.
Right.
Maybe within the last 5 years.
Because the concerns were being able to go to the same school and sit at the same lunch counter and be integrated. And that's what was being fought for. There was no...
Not independent.
Yeah, no real independence or delivered protected status.
Because that's why there's no black town in every city in America. Like there's a Germantown, a Koreatown, Greek town, or whatever.
Because they took care of that early.
Yeah.
Because when Tulsa and other places were flourishing, what is that? Elaine, Arkansas, and some other places that were developing, that were black developed and prosperous and got destroyed, and they put the fear in people. It was like
cities and towns that were black created after slavery.
Right.
And then were destroyed because of their progress.
Right, and so after that, even though with all the hope and the drive, and it brought people to those places, after those things happened, your spirit is broken. And they were, people don't want to do that, because even when Tulsa, everything started to get rebuilt after all of the years and everything we took for it, They weren't doing anything to really put businesses and things of that nature back in place. They were worried about building a museum.
Yeah, that's recently, isn't it?
Yeah, within the last 15, 20 years, I think.
It's just
20
like
years or so.
I think where's that? It's like that park they put up here on the west side of Las Vegas, where there's no grocery store,
Right.
but they put up a $3 million park.
Right.
But there's not a grocery store on this whole entire side of town, but they put up a $3 million park so people can go outside in 115-degree weather.
Right. And actually add another 10 degrees to that because there's not going to be that much grass and it's going to be a whole lot of concrete because we know how they do here. So it'll probably be 125 degrees in this park. And they'll be lucky if they put their little cooling stations in.
You have to go visit this park and see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
No, I won't be a cooling station.
No, I'm being facetious. I'm being super facetious since they're spending $3 million on the park. But no grocery store though. You can't have that.
Yeah, the grocery store over there is what's terrible.
The one grocery store that has.
Well, that's certain part of town up in higher, but still.
Primarily because
Yeah.
we've been to some of the, just out of curiosity, we've been to some of the other grocery stores over there.
Yeah, why is there no other people over there? Why is there no neighborhood Walmart over there?
Right. The little tiny
Yeah,
Walmart.
you run into it like, man, there's a neighborhood Walmart right here.
Right.
Nobody even over here. But yeah, that's those demographics. That's like being having a real estate agent, and you say, I want to live in, find me a house in this
Specific area.
Specific area. They say, I've never heard of that
area. Where is that?
You're fired.
I don't need your help.
Yeah, you like you
I don't-
lied to me in my face. You're a real estate agent in this city, and you've never heard of this area.
You're fired, and I don't need your help. I'm done with
That's
you.
crazy.
I'm 100% done with you.
Yeah, that's what happens when you black buying a house, buying property.
Yeah.
People
We
say,
call that redlining. That's what that is. But
right.
that's all right. All praise to the Most High. We are blessed in all things taken care of. Having this nice, fine, fancy fire talk.
Yeah, it was just mainly a fire talk about, the status of, this music that's going on, the hip-hop music that's going on, and how people are being rewarded and awarded for the raunchiest, nastiest music that has pretty much ever been created.
Yeah.
And said by, and sang by a female.
By females, yes, because this is, man, they blowing Too Short out the water.
Yeah.
They blowing him completely out the water.
Yeah.
They,
Man, I hope
they blowing
look.
Shauna out the water.
Oh, she's not bad. She wasn't like that. Not.
Still.
She had lyrics. Yeah, she wasn't a one of these porn rappers.
All of them. Any from the 90s, early 2000s, any female rapper who was spitting any type of, there wasn't this type of, it wasn't, no, you wasn't going to have a girl Too Short.
Well, they already canceling T.I. He didn't cancel. But that's because of his lifestyle choices. And his lifestyle, his little nasty lifestyle, and came out, and yeah, that's why he's getting canceled. He's bad for you.
And the little thing going down, and what was that movie? He's not going to be in Ant-Man.
Yeah, he got kicked out of the Ant-Man cast.
Security is on.
All right, leave it.
Leave it.
There you go, leave it. Okay, good boy.
Good boy. You did a good job.
Go back in the spot.
You did a good job. Yeah, and that would have one of those little franchises to be a part of. But probably the last movie he's gonna have, he was eating eaten alive by spiders coming from inside of his body, like, ugh. Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter, yeah. Hey, that was a decent little movie, though. It was funny.
It was a funny, scary movie. Weird movie.
We're gonna cover some movies and bring out the biblical and bring out the biblical truth. Explain the biblical truth in the movies that we know of that have a lot of biblical truth in it.
Because there are quite a few of them. Far more than people would probably expect. Because almost every movie in Hollywood has a hidden meaning. So, they all do. They all do.
But we're gonna wrap this up because we know people have short attention spans.
That's right.
And so this has been the Lenny and Lisa Israel Show, Fire Talk.
What time? We out here.
It's the Lenny and Lisa Israel Show, where we have an insightful mix of conversations about what's new and relevant in the worlds of entertainment, business, music, relationships, religion, and more. Hey, let's talk about it.